For decades, buying a home was the entry point to the American dream. Today, the average first-time buyer is nearly 40, and millions are stuck in gig work or racking up debt just to get by. Official numbers claim progress, but there is a $4 trillion reality no one admits. What exactly is America hiding? And what happens when a whole generation is priced out? Jasmine and Tyler met in their late 20s, the way many couples do now after college, both working steady jobs, both with dreams of a home and a family. They rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Portland, Oregon. Their combined income is just under $100,000 a year. Every month, after paying $2,200 in rent, student loans, groceries, and health insurance, their savings account grows by less than $200. They have been at it for 5 years. Their parents bought their first house at 28, with a single income and enough left over for vacations. Jasmine's mother still keeps the yellowed mortgage paperwork, $62,000 for a 3-bedroom in 1987. Today, a similar starter home in their neighborhood lists for over $500,000. In 2004, the homeownership rate in America peaked at 69%. That was the high water mark, the moment when owning a home was still the default path into the middle class. Now, the median age for a first-time homebuyer is 40. That is nearly a decade older than it was a generation ago. For Jasmine and Tyler, the numbers just do not add up. A 10% down payment would mean saving $50,000, not counting closing costs or the extra cash a lender might demand in a bidding war. Even with 2 incomes, the math keeps shifting further out of reach. The Case-Shiller Index puts national home prices at all-time highs. Mortgage rates have doubled since 2021, but prices have not come down. Incomes are not keeping pace. It is not just about high prices. The supply of affordable homes has shrunk. In 2025, analysts estimate a shortage of at least 1.5 million homes nationwide, with some putting the gap above 4 million. The share of renters who are cost-burdened, spending more than 30% of their income on housing, has reached 50%. For those like Jasmine and Tyler, the old formula of work, save, buy is broken. They are not alone. Millions of households are stuck waiting, watching the dream drift further away every year. The question hangs in the air. What changed in the economy to make the most basic step, the first home, so hard to reach? A rideshare driver in Phoenix starts her day before sunrise. She is in her early 30s, juggling 3 different gig apps. Last month, after gas, car payments, and insurance, she cleared just over $2,100. Rent alone takes $1,400. Then a sudden medical bill, nearly $900, forces her to choose between prescription refills and groceries. She puts both on buy now, pay later. She is not alone. According to the Federal Reserve, about 1 in 3 Americans under 35 used buy now, pay later in the last year, twice the rate of older adults. For many, it is not about splurging, but bridging the gap when paychecks run short. Regulators warn that these short-term fixes can stack up quickly, especially for those already carrying credit card or medical debt. When the future feels blocked, spending shifts. A growing number of young people turn to what some call doom spending, buying small luxuries or experiences now because saving for a home or retirement seems out of reach. The logic is simple. If the system will not reward sacrifice, why keep sacrificing? Data from Gallup finds that about 3/4 of American workers feel burned out at least sometimes. 1 in 4 say they feel burned out very often or always. High stress and exhaustion do not just lead to job changes, they drive people to disengage, to do only what is necessary to get by. This is not just an American response. In China, a phrase went viral among young adults, tongueping or lying flat. It means opting out of the endless race, choosing a quieter life over the relentless push for home, marriage, and career. Surveys of Chinese youth show that up to 40% relate to this idea, even if few can afford to fully check out. Scholars see this as a rational response to a system where hard work no longer guarantees progress. Across countries and cultures, these survival strategies have one thing in common: they are not irrational. They are what happens when the old promises stop working. In a world where the math no longer adds up, people adapt. And the numbers driving that adaptation are about to come into focus. The official unemployment rate in America hovers near 4%. This is the number that headlines repeat, the number that shapes policy debates and investor confidence. But that 4% leaves out millions. It counts only those actively seeking work, not those who have given up searching, not those stuck in part-time jobs when they want full-time, and not the full-time workers earning so little that their families remain below the poverty line. When all these groups are included, the picture changes dramatically. Labor economists call this broader measure functional unemployment. According to the Labor Institute for Social and Economic Policy, when you add up the officially unemployed, the discouraged, the underemployed, and those in poverty-wage jobs, the real share of working-age Americans shut out from a stable, living-wage job is not 4%. It's closer to 24%, almost 1 in 4 adults. That's 6 times the headline rate. Here's how the number builds. Start with the 4% officially unemployed. Add those working part-time for economic reasons, those who have stopped looking but still want a job, and the millions working full-time yet earning less than what it takes to keep a family above the poverty line. Each layer adds millions more. The result is a labor market where a quarter of adults are either unable to find decent work or unable to live on what they earn. As labor economist Dr. Elaine Bernard explains, if you want to know who's really being left out, you have to look beyond the unemployment rate. The official number is only the tip of the iceberg. The real crisis is much deeper. This gap between the official story and lived experience is not an accident. It's a choice about what and who gets counted. The consequences ripple through every aspect of American life. A $4 trillion loss sounds abstract until you break it down. The crisis is not just about lost dreams, but about missing assets, jobs, spending, and wealth that should be circulating in the economy. Start with housing. America is short by nearly 3.8 million homes, according to the latest estimates. That is not just a number. It is enough missing houses to shelter the entire population of Los Angeles and Chicago combined. Each one represents not only a family without a foothold, but also construction jobs and local tax dollars that never materialized. The median price of a new home in the U.S. now stands at $459,826. At that price, 3 out of 4 households are locked out. Every $1,000 increase in price pushes another 115,000 families out of the market. The lost home equity from delayed or denied ownership adds up fast. Hundreds of billions in wealth that would have been built over a generation. But the loss is not limited to housing. When millions cannot buy homes, they spend less on furniture, appliances, renovations, and local businesses. Construction itself is an economic engine. Every new home supports up to 3 full-time jobs for a year. Multiply the missing homes by the average economic impact per unit, and the gap grows into the trillions. Add in the lost consumer spending from workers stuck in poverty, wage jobs, or forced into part-time work, and the total hidden cost becomes staggering. The $4 trillion figure is not a single whole. It is a set of 5 interconnected buckets: missing housing, lost construction and jobs, reduced spending, lower tax revenues, and lifetime wealth that never gets built. Each piece is measurable. Together, they reveal a crisis that has been quietly draining the country's future. Principal Marsha Lewis arrives early to an empty parking lot in a small Ohio town. Her school once served 600 students. Now, barely 400 fill the halls. The boardroom is tense on budget night, and parents worry about another round of program cuts. Property tax receipts have fallen behind projections, a ripple effect from fewer young families buying homes nearby. Enrollment keeps shrinking, and with it, state funding. After the meeting, Marsha reviews the numbers. The district will need to combine classrooms and cut after-school tutoring. She has watched colleagues move away, chasing jobs and affordable rent elsewhere. This is not just a local story. Across the country, falling birth rates are rewriting the future. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports the national fertility rate hovers between 1.7 and 1.8 children per woman, well below the level needed to replace the population. For many, the decision to delay or forego kids is economic, not personal. At the same time, the Department of Housing and Urban Development counts over 770,000 people experiencing homelessness, the highest number ever recorded in America. The pain is not evenly shared. In 2023, 57% of Black renter households and 53% of Hispanic renters spent more than a third of their income on rent, compared to 46% of white renters. For millions, the dream of stability is out of reach, and the effects stretch far beyond individual households. When entire communities lose their footing, what happens to the promise of opportunity? The answer may depend on whether the country can rebuild not just its homes, but the foundations of civic life itself. Today, 1 in 4 Americans is locked out of secure work, while home prices outpace wages by triple digits. When stability itself becomes unattainable, the future of the middle class hangs in the balance. The real test isn't growth, it's who gets to participate in it. Share your story below.